In this video, we're going to start out by looking at SPY in here on the weekly chart. We're trading just below 747. Nice little move in here for our triple witching day that happened last Thursday. Nice little gift from everybody with that Wednesday pullback into close. Then obviously Trump kind of helped everyone out when he started tweeting early in the morning, gave us a nice little pop in there overall. And we more or less just kind of stayed up near those 746s to those 747s going all the way into close. Now, going forward, like we mentioned before, more of the same in here. 760 is going to be the question. Are we, if we can get above that and then hold that, obviously that is going to be for the betterment of everybody. But obviously, if we get up near that 760 again and have to get some sort of a pullback, then we're going to get some real volatility that's going to come into the market. Right now, the market is basically more or less just being overall propped up by the NASDAQ just because that's where all the volatility is. And obviously, everybody is just kind of they want to play AMD, they want to play Micron, SanDisk, all these new shiny new toys, right? That's what everybody is turning to in here. So more or less, that's kind of what we're waiting for in our overall markets in here. To the downside, what are we going to be looking at? 738, 732. We also have a little hiccup right there at those 742s. That's going to be a spot that we are going to watch. And then to the upside in here, obviously, nice whole number, 750 and then 760. That is kind of what we're watching in here. RSI, don't have to worry about it too much because we've been here before, right? We repeated this whole pattern back in here at the end of last year, into the beginning of this year. We were talking about the 700s. Hey, we're going to stay up here a long time. As soon as we get a big pullback and then run up again, we're going to break. It looks like we're going to repeat the same thing, right? We're going to stay up here near the 750s. And then as soon as we get a big pullback in here, we're going to bounce off of some sort of moving average. And then we're coming here, we're going to break that 750. And eventually we're going to get to go to 800. That's what it's looking like, but who knows? We'll see what happens. We have a president that likes to tweet things and the market overreacts to that. So that is going to be another factor in all of this. So more or less, that's what we're looking at in here on SPY. But we're going to compare that in here today to the Dow Jones ETF in here. So this is DIA. This is your Spiders ETF version of the overall markets. Or I'm sorry, not the overall markets, the Dow Jones Industrial Index in here. We're trading just below 515 and a half. Really, we're more or less flat on the day from last Wednesday's close into Thursday's close. So not a whole lot happening in here, but we want some volatility, right? We're kind of in the middle of this overall structure. We need a push in here to the upside so we can get back up to these 530s. We need a pullback in here to the downside to get to those 507s, 510s, this whole area right here on our lower trend line. We need something to happen in here. If you look at our volatility in here, your IV rank is sitting at 25. You got a $51 expected move by this Friday. Next Friday, right around the same thing. If you go all the way out to July, basically 60 bucks. August is 61. So this thing wants volatility. The question is, when are we going to get that? But with everybody kind of rotating out of all these industrials and these major companies, and they're kind of rolling into your AMDs and your Microns and things like that, like we mentioned, obviously not a whole lot of volatility is going to come in your Dow. So that is kind of what we're looking at overall in here. We have the Dow that wants to move. It wants to either just go up and hit our head here. It wants to come bounce. It wants to do something, right? We can't just keep on staying in the middle of this overall structure. But you have the SPY that's doing kind of the exact opposite, just staying up near those upper trend lines and saying, we're going to hang out up here. Nobody's letting us pull this thing back yet. Same with the Qs. Nobody's letting us really pull anything back in the Qs as well. So the question is, when are we going to kind of break this overall cycle in trend? When are things going to start to kind of rotate back out of those high flying chip and AI stocks? When is that bubble going to end? And when are we going to start to kind of roll back in to our old school Dow stocks? So that is kind of the overall question that we are going to be looking at. But all in all, moral of the story is SPY is looking like, hey, we're not going to go anywhere, especially with that big pullback that we tried to have. Last Wednesday with Warsh speaking, they said, hey, guess what? We're not going to go anywhere. It looks like the Dow is saying we're just waiting for something, more or less. So it's kind of a waiting game in here. So we're going to see what happens as we start up a new week in here. We got a good full week in here in the June, and then we're going to see how we react. And then obviously as we go into the week of the 4th of July, we're going to see how that is going to compare to things too as well, because that's going to be another shortened week for the overall markets for us. So we got a full week in between that. So let's see how the markets react and kind of dictate things as we're setting up for that 4th of July trading week. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.